Before the world knew his face, before fan edits filled timelines, before his name appeared in casting rumors and comment sections, Yu Menglong was invisible. Not because he lacked talent, not because he lacked discipline, but because the industry did not know what to do with someone like him. He didn't fit neatly into trends. He wasn't loud. He didn't sell himself with exaggeration. So, for a long time, he waited. He auditioned. He prepared. He showed up. And then he went home without answers. In an industry that celebrates speed, Yu Menglong learned patience the hard way. He watched peers rise faster. He watched faces become famous overnight. And while others collected headlines, he collected experience. Rejection became routine. Silence became familiar. But quitting never became an option. Because Yu Menglong understood something early. Fame can be delayed, but craft cannot be faked. So, he focused on what he could control. He studied human behavior, the way grief changes posture, the way fear hides behind stillness, the way love hesitates before it speaks. He learned that real emotion doesn't announce itself, it arrives quietly. And that philosophy would later define his entire career. For a long time, his roles were small, sometimes blink and you miss it small. But even in the background, he treated every scene as if it mattered, because to him, it did. He believed that one honest moment was more powerful than 10 dramatic speeches. And then, something shifted. He was cast in a role no one expected to change anything. No grand introduction, no promotional push, no promise of stardom, just a character carrying weight, a character written to feel, not to impress. Yu Menglong didn't perform that role, he lived inside it. His expressions were restrained, his emotions were controlled, and his silence spoke louder than dialogue ever could. Viewers didn't immediately celebrate him. They paused, they replayed scenes, they felt something they couldn't explain, and slowly a question began to spread. Who is this actor? What followed wasn't hype, it was recognition. Clips began circulating, comments began appearing. People noticed the same thing again and again. He wasn't acting for applause, he was acting for truth. Yu Menglong's strength lies in subtlety. He understands that pain doesn't always scream. Sometimes it sits quietly behind the eyes. Sometimes it shows up as restraint instead of collapse. That understanding set him apart. Directors began to trust him with emotionally complex characters. Writers began shaping roles with his depth in mind. And audiences began to listen when he appeared on screen. Because when Yu Menglong is present, nothing feels wasted. Every glance has intention. Every pause has meaning. He doesn't rush emotion. He lets it arrive naturally. And that patience is rare. As his career grew, something else became clear. He wasn't chasing fame. He was building longevity. He chose roles that demanded restraint over spectacle, stories that required vulnerability instead of vanity, and slowly he earned a reputation not as a star, but as an actor, the kind audiences trust, the kind scenes rely on, the kind whose performances age well. Fans began to describe him the same way: underrated, powerful, real. But Yu Menglong never leaned into labels. He kept working. He kept refining. He kept choosing depth over noise. And in doing so, he became a mirror for viewers who felt unseen. People who knew what it meant to wait, to be overlooked, to be underestimated. His journey resonated because it was honest. No shortcuts, no overnight miracle, just consistency, just patience, just belief in the work. In an industry obsessed with visibility, Yu Menglong proved that presence matters more, that sometimes the quietest performers leave the deepest impact, that recognition doesn't always arrive early, but when it does, it lasts. Today, his name carries weight, not because it was forced into relevance, but because it earned its place. Yu Menglong represents something rare in modern entertainment, proof that restraint can be powerful, proof that subtlety can be unforgettable, proof that waiting does not mean wasting time. His story is still unfolding, and that's what makes it powerful. Because this isn't the end of his rise, it's the foundation, and the world is finally paying attention.
What many people still don't realize about Yu Menglong is that his rise didn't change him. Fame arrived quietly, and he met it the same way he met rejection, with restraint. As more eyes turned toward him, expectations followed. Audiences wanted bigger roles. Producers wanted broader appeal. The industry began to test whether his depth could survive visibility. And this is where many actors lose themselves. But Yu Menglong didn't. Instead of chasing momentum, he protected his rhythm. He remained selective. He stayed grounded in character work rather than image building. He understood something crucial. Attention fades faster than respect. So he chose stories that demanded emotional responsibility, characters that carried contradiction, people who were flawed, quiet, conflicted, and real. This is why his performances don't age quickly. They aren't built on trends. They are built on human truth. When Yu Menglong portrays pain, it isn't decorative, it isn't exaggerated for sympathy, it feels lived in. Because he doesn't ask, how do I make this scene memorable? He asks, what would a real person do here? That question defines his work. As fans began to follow his journey more closely, they noticed something unusual. He rarely over-explains himself in interviews. He lets the work speak. That silence isn't distance, it's discipline. Yu Menglong believes mystery is part of storytelling, that not everything needs to be translated, that sometimes feeling matters more than explanation. And that belief resonates deeply with audiences, especially those who see themselves in his characters. People who understand waiting, people who understand restraint, people who understand being overlooked. In many ways, Yu Menglong represents the unseen majority, talented, patient, underestimated. That's why his fan base grows steadily instead of explosively. They don't just admire him, they trust him. And trust is the most powerful currency in storytelling. As his career continues, one thing is becoming clear. Yu Menglong is not a moment, he is a presence. The kind that doesn't burn bright and disappear, the kind that settles into the industry and stays. He reminds us that acting is not about being seen everywhere, it's about being believed when you are seen. His journey is still unfolding, but the foundation is already strong, built on patience, built on craft, built on quiet confidence. And in a world that never stops shouting, Yu Menglong proves that sometimes the softest voice leaves the deepest echo.